Yes, sir. All right. Here we go. Here we go. We got a lot to talk about tonight, so let's get right into it. You see the title, you see the thumbnail. Tonight we're talking about due dissidence. Due dissidence. All right. I've noticed there's a lot of excitement around Donald Trump right now. There's an air of invincibility around Trump, MAGA, and the conservatives right now. They're feeling as though by surviving that assassination attempt, they've clinched and solidified Trump's election. It's going to be a cakewalk. All they have to do is keep security high, keep Trump protected, and it's looking as though he will be crowned king in November, slow to speak. So although on this channel I am not a Democrat, nor do I support the Democrats, I spend the majority of my videos and the majority of my time talking about the problems and the issues in the Democratic Party. I point out the fact that they are anti-democratic, which has been made evident not only in 2016 and 2020 when the Democrats cheated Bernie Sanders in the primaries, but in 2024 the constant undemocratic attacks that they've been waging against Donald Trump, whether it be trying to charge him with politically motivated offenses, convicting him of crimes that are politically motivated, and making him a felon, whether it be now this attempted assassination attempt, which there is a strong case to be made that this was a hit. This was a hit directly from Joe Biden, and we're going to break that down. It seems as though now, in my last video, my initial reaction to the assassination attempt, I said that people are calling this a fake. They're saying that he wasn't really attempted, nobody really attempted to kill him. I knew automatically from the jump, I was saying, no, I don't think this is fake. That's cope. This is not a fake situation. He really survived this attack, and he is the likely, I'd say 80 to 90% chance of him winning in November. If there was any doubt before, him surviving and showing the strength of standing up after being shot in the face and standing up with that fist, that's showing strength. That's showing strength. And you juxtapose that to Joe Biden, who is freezing every time you put a camera in his face, it's no comparison. But as the excitement continues to rise around Donald Trump, although I don't make a lot of videos bashing Trump or the Republicans, I think it's necessary to caution people and remind folks, okay, let's not get too, especially us black folks, let's not get too excited. Let's not get too carried away. Yeah, we don't like Biden and we don't like the Democrats. I got that. But, and we see the strength that Trump is showing by surviving that assassination attempt. I understand that too. But let's be real. Let's not get carried away here. There are some fundamental flaws with Trump, which is the reason why I still refuse to vote and support Trump. First of all, I am a dissident. I protest against the people in power, whether they be Democrats or Republicans. Basically, I think about it as the 10th man rule here. The motivation for this video is the fact that it's an old Hebrew proverb that if 9 of us get the same information and arrive at the same conclusion, it is the duty of the 10th man to disagree. In this situation, I think 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10 people would agree that Donald Trump uh, is the likely next president of the United States. He's likely to win. And I'm not disagreeing with that fact, but I am disagreeing with the fact that we should be excited about it. All right. Now, first of all, the majority of Democrats, in my opinion, they've lost all credibility. The way that they've responded to this assassination attempt, folks saying that it was fake, Yesterday, yesterday, I showed a video of Amanda Seales saying it was fake. It was just ketchup pellets in the mouth. Now I got to show this tweet of Plies, another Democratic shill. He targets the black community because he's a rapper, so he's got the ear of the black community, and he pushes this Democratic agenda. He says Trump, MAGA, the media, and Republicans are the only people saying Trump was shot. So again, that denialism, the Democrats are going into denial. It's been 48 hours. Where is the doctor that treated him and confirmed his shooting? Like they have some responsibility to put out the private doctors. Trump is a multi-billionaire. Of course, he has private doctors that he's able to see. I don't think that's information that they're necessarily going to put out to the public. The shooter has been confirmed. The innocent bystander deceased confirmed. Everything confirmed, but him being shot. So you acknowledge that people have been killed here. Plies is acknowledging here that the shooter has been killed with the murder weapon by his side. An innocent bystander has been killed. He's acknowledging these things. He's acknowledging the fact that the shooter was killed, an innocent bystander was killed, but all of a sudden you're doubting that Trump was shot? When you see the blood on his face, you think he just made that up? But the Democrats are going into this denial. The Democrats are going into this denial and they're shooting themselves in the foot. They're losing all credibility. If what little credibility they had left, they're losing it by pushing this, oh, it was all fake agenda. Listen, it was not fake. It's very obvious that this was an assassination attempt. Someone tried to take him out. The only question I have about it was whether or not he was sent directly from Joe Biden or whether or not this was a self motivated lone wolf. Now, my initial reaction, I wanted to give Joe Biden the benefit of the doubt. I wanted to say, it's probably someone who's been watching CNN, MSNBC, and got all hyped up on this anti-Trump propaganda and decided, hey, he looks like he's going to win, but this is the next Hitler. So it's my duty. I've got to take this guy out. And this guy was a lone wolf and just took it upon himself to go out and make this hit. I wanted to give Joe Biden and the Democrats the benefit of the doubt at first. But upon gathering further information, I've been seeing this. Joe Biden, in speaking with a number of his private donors, just days before the assassination attempt, said, I have one job, and that's to beat Donald Trump. I'm absolutely certain I'm the best person to be able to do that. So we know that ever since the debate, he's been saying, I'm not going to drop out. I'm the only one who can beat Trump. I'm not going to drop out of the race because people have been pressuring him to drop out of the race. So him speaking to his private donors, he says, I'm the only one. I'm not going to drop out. So we're done talking about the debate. It's time to put Trump in a bullseye. And he made this quote days before the assassination attempt. Okay, now this is what's making my spidey senses perk up here. Now that is quite a quote coming just days before somebody literally shot at Trump and shot the former president in the face. That is quite a quote. That's something that is noteworthy. So, whereas my initial reaction was to give Joe Biden the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, maybe this was a self motivated lone wolf, when I see the fact in context that this quote was made just days before him getting literally being put in the bullseye, that makes me think this was actually a called strike, a called strike from either Joe Biden or someone from the Democratic Party. That's not a far-fetched thought with this context. And just to give you a little bit more information showing that, hey, this isn't just a random tweet or somebody, put a factoring something or altering a tweet or altering the pictures. This is Joe Biden himself speaking on the quote, speaking on the fact that he chose to say this. This is Joe Biden in his first interview since the Trump assassination attempt.
Well, let's talk about the conversation this has started, and it's really about language, what we say out loud, and the consequences of those. You called your opponent an existential threat on a call a week ago. You said it's time to put Trump in the bullseye. There's some dispute about the context, but I think you appreciate that.
I didn't say
words matter.
crosshairs. I was talking about focus on. Look, the truth of the matter was, what I guess I was talking about at the time was, there was very little focus on Trump's agenda.
Yeah, the term is bullseye.
It was a mistake to use the word. I didn't say crosshairs. I meant bullseye. I meant focus on him. Focus on what he's doing. Focus
Now
on
that is a bit of a stretch. I meant focus on it as if they weren't focused on it before. What?
on his policies. Focus on the number of lies he told in the debate. Focus. I mean, there's a whole range of things that, look, I'm not the guy that said I want to be a dictator on day one. I'm not the guy that refused to accept the outcome of the election. I'm not the guy who said that one accept the outcome of this election automatically. You can't only love your country when you win. And so the focus was on what he's saying, and I mean the idea.
But have you taken a step back?
Now that's a bit of a stretch. When you talk about explaining, that was not a very sufficient answer. Now, keep in mind, this is the same guy who promised that if Putin invades Ukraine, that Nord Stream pipeline would no longer be an option. Now, prior to Nord Stream pipeline being bombed and destroyed, and the European nations nor Russia has yet to say anything or give any type of explanation as to who did it. Hint, hint, clue, clue. Before Nord Stream pipeline was bombed, Joe Biden is the one that said if Russia invades Ukraine, Nord Stream pipeline will no longer be an option. So Joe Biden, in my eyes, has a pattern of speaking things that he expects to get done, giving these warnings, these forewarnings, these foreboding messages, these hints, should you say, prior to events happening. So I saw before the Nord Stream pipeline was bombed, Joe Biden saying if Russia invades Ukraine, Nord Stream pipeline will no longer be an option. Now I see Joe Biden saying what? It's time to put Trump in the bullseye, just days before shots literally being fired at Donald Trump. I don't think it's so far-fetched to say this may have been a direct call from the Democratic Party. And they like to put their weaknesses and project it onto their enemies. So when Joe Biden was giving that interview, he says, "Look, you can't only love your country when you win." That's very rich considering the way that Donald Trump has been treated. That's very interesting the way Bernie Sanders has been treated, the way RFK has been treated, the way anyone who pushes against the Democratic machine is treated. Right? So it's looking very desperate. It's looking like there's a lot of desperation coming from the Democrats. I would not be surprised if months and years from now it's discovered, because they're even talking about it now, the fact that there seem to be ties between the Democratic Party and this shooter. Of course, the shooter's been killed, so he'll never say. Excuse me. But I would not be surprised to see that. Okay? So if it's safe to assume that Donald Trump is going to win, and it seems as though Donald Trump has this air of invincibility, this air of divine intervention, appointing him, anointing him. This is coming on the heels of the Supreme Court decision saying that the president will be immune from any and all actions taken while fulfilling the duties of the office. All right. Now, if that wasn't clear before, it has just recently been reiterated by the Supreme Court. So, the reason I say I refuse to vote for Trump, despite the fact that it seems everyone is appointing Trump, is because I think we have some serious concerns to consider if and when Trump takes office. Now, I made a video breaking down the agenda for 2025, Project 2025 agenda. One of the most concerning things from that article was the dissolution of the Board of Education, the Department of Education. I think dissolving the Department of Education could have some seriously negative effects on the black community. I think that is something to take seriously. Now, in order to respond, we would be forced to open our own schools, and I think the response to that might be good. But the short-term effects of the dissolution of the Department of Education, I think that's a serious consideration. Trump getting elected, he'll if and when he is elected, he's going to be elected with what he considers a mandate to institute his policies. He'll be a lame duck president, with nothing to lose. So I know the people who are in prison right now after the January 6th riots, the January 6th attack, they're like, bet. We're getting out of here. Because Trump promises to free them. But listen, this is something that I'm most worried about. When I think about Donald Trump, one of the most concerning things of a Donald Trump presidency to me is escalation in the Middle East. Okay? When Donald Trump was in office from 2016 to 2020, we saw him do a lot of questionable actions in the Middle East. We saw him end the Iranian nuclear deal. We saw him assassinate Qasem Soleimani, the general from Iran. We saw him move the embassy, the U.S. embassy, to Jerusalem and officially recognize Jerusalem as the capital city of Israel. So when I'm looking at Donald Trump's presidency, which seems all but certain at this point, I have serious concerns about how he's going to handle the Middle East right now. Because he's taking over at a point where people are already upset at Joe Biden, calling Joe Biden a genocider in chief. But Donald Trump calls Joe Biden weak. Have we forgotten already? I know the debate, the Donald Trump Joe Biden debate was so trash on Joe Biden's part. Joe Biden made so many gaffes. I don't think anybody was paying attention to what Donald Trump was actually saying. Did you all not hear Donald Trump call Joe Biden weak on Palestine?
But as far as Israel and Hamas, Israel's the one that wants to go. He said the only one who wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job. He doesn't want to do it. He's become like a Palestinian, but they don't like him because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
Okay, so that's a quick clip. I want to play it back a little bit, but you can hear what he's saying. He's saying, "Oh yeah, they want to finish it. Israel wants to finish it, and we should let him. We should let them." So while people are yelling at Joe Biden, calling Joe Biden a genocider, Donald Trump has a history of officially recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, moving the U.S. embassy to Jerusalem, killing Qasem Soleimani, the general from Iran, ending the Iranian deal. I would not be surprised if Donald Trump takes office as a lame duck president and instigates a war with Iran. A war with Iran. Outright war with Iran. I wouldn't be surprised. And at this point, he can say, hey, I've got a mandate to do it. The vote for Trump is going to be overwhelming as the survivor of an official assassination attempt. He's going he's going to end or reduce the war effort in Ukraine. And people are going to say, see, I'm so glad that we voted for Donald Trump. He's doing so much better than the Democrats. And then he's going to start and expand the war in Israel. He's going to expand that war to Iran. That's my legitimate fear, my legitimate concern. Not only that, that's on the international side. But domestically, people like to say that, oh, Barack Obama, he was so divisive. The Democrats, they're so divisive. But Donald Trump has been divisive domestically here in America since 2016, since 2015, since he announced his initial run for presidency in 2015. Let's not forget, when he was running for president in 2016, people were getting beat up at his rallies all the time. Do you not remember all the Trump protesters getting attacked at the Trump rallies, and Donald Trump promising to pay their legal fees?
I'm walking, and as soon as I turned, he hit me, and I was like, I thought it was a punch, but as I look at the footage now, it was an elbow but he hit me dead in my eye.
I do want to see what that young man was doing, because he was very taunting. He was very loud, very disruptive. And from what I understand, he was sticking a certain finger up in the air.
And that condones a sucker punch, though?
No, as I told you before, nothing condones. But I want to see. The man got carried away.
Right.
He's 78 years old. He obviously loves this country.
You bet I liked it.
Yeah? What'd you like about it?
Knocking hell out of that big mouth. Yes, he deserved it. The next time we see him, we might have to kill him.
It's possible we could help him with legal fees if this man needs it.
I've actually instructed my people to look into it, yes.
And Trump said we're looking at paying his legal fees. I've instructed my people to pay his legal fees. Yeah, you bet I liked it. You bet I like hitting that protester in the mouth. Next time we see him, we'll have to kill him, says the 78-year-old white man talking about the black man. Huh? So when you talk about domestic violence, domestic division, that's nothing new. That's nothing new. And that's what we can look forward to in 2025 and beyond. We're going to see wars expand in Israel. I predict wars expanding in Israel. I predict wars expanding to include Hezbollah and even Iran. I would not be surprised, not even a little bit. And Trump is going to feel emboldened. He's going to feel like, hey, they did everything to take me out. They charged me with these bogus, politically motivated crimes. They made me a convicted felon. They literally tried to shoot me and take my head off. I survived all that. And now that I'm elected, come 2024 November, now is payback time. I can institute whatever agenda I see fit. The Supreme Court has promised that I will be immune, total immunity for any actions that I take while in office. Meaning, hey, if I choose to nuke a country, now this might sound hyperbolic. This might seem hyperbolic. But technically speaking and legally speaking, if he was to preemptively attack Iran, if Donald Trump was to get into office in November of 2024 and preemptively attack Iran, he would be totally immune per the Supreme Court. He would be totally immune for that decision per the Supreme Court. So I see a lot of people getting excited about Donald Trump I'm like, okay, I think you all have forgotten. I understand he's survived an assassination attempt, so there's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of folks rallying the troops, circling the wagons, celebrating. And hey, I don't wish the man death or anything of that nature either. And I've got a lot of problems with the Democrats. I'm not voting for Joe Biden. I've made plenty of videos breaking that down. I do not support the Democrats in any sense of the word. I've made plenty of videos breaking that down. But I got to go on record when I see all these folks excited about Donald Trump. I'm like, okay. One thing about it, the internet doesn't forget. The internet does not forget. These folks saying, on the one hand, on the leftist side, the folks saying, oh, it's fake and Donald Trump is no proof that he was really shot. Yeah, okay. Those tweets are not going to age well. Those tweets are not going to age well. Folks like Amanda Seales saying it was just ketchup on his face. Those tweets are not going to age well. But at the same time, the folks who are all gung-ho about Trump can do no wrong. People are tweeting out Trump on Trump's face on 50 Cent's body, calling him Teflon Don, saying, many men wish death upon me. Blood in my eyes, dog, and I can't see. I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be. And brothers trying to take my life away. People seriously singing, big up in Trump, like oh, it's a game, like oh, he's 50 Cent, oh, it's just a show. Listen, it's not just a show. It's not just a show. And we're gonna see, and time will tell. Time will tell. All that excitement around Trump, okay. All right, let's not forget. You think that Trump's presidency was just overshadowed by 2020 and it was all good except for that. But no, it wasn't all good. It was not all good. People were not happy about Donald Trump even before 2020. No. No, I haven't forgotten. I haven't forgotten, and I predict it's going to get worse. But hey, that's just what I think. Tell me if I got it wrong. Tell me who you're supporting. As always, this is a sponsored video, so I got to give a quick salute to the sponsors of today's video, which is a sickle cell PSA. I want to play this quick video, come back with some closing thoughts. Check this out.
Thanks for joining me. We need to list what some of the dangers are for smoking that our sickle cell population faces, such as smoking contributes to the development of complications in individuals with sickle cell, such as acute chest syndrome, which represents 25% of all deaths in patients with sickle cell.
Yeah. Well, the one I'm interested in is how smoking introduces carbon monoxide into the bloodstream. That substantially reduces its oxygen carrying capacity. Consequently, individuals with sickle cell disease, they're at a high risk for experiencing painful episodes.
Yes, and nicotine masks pain, and the perception of pain, and temporarily causes relief of anxiety. But because smoking seems to decrease their pain, individuals with sickle cell, it serves as a motivator for them to keep smoking.
Even exposure to secondhand smoke is linked to a rate of increased acute chest syndrome episodes that are more than twice as the frequency observed in individuals who don't smoke.
We're off to a good start. Let's break, do some research, and we'll meet back again tomorrow.
It's time for you to do your homework. The dangers of smoking far outweighs the temporary mellowing effect of nicotine, especially for those with sickle cell. Don't bury your head in the sand. The consequences are too severe.
Boom! Brr, 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 brr. Brr, 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 brr. All right, so that is our sickle cell PSA Z8. All right, so we are running through these commercials. I think we've got 4 or 5 more left to go. So once again, salute and shout out to our sponsors. Y'all have been great. If you've made it this far in the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. All right, if it's your first time watching, be sure to smash the subscribe button for content just like this. Dropping videos all the time, different topics, different content, talking about news, politics, current events, hip hop, sports, self-improvement, doomsday prepping, large range of topics here. So be sure to subscribe and come back for more conversations you might find interesting from a perspective you probably haven't heard before. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.